Hello folks, I'd like to introduce myself. This is going to be, the name of this channel is, I reckon most of you know, the name of this channel is going to be the Unedited Prophet. And I want to introduce myself to you. So my camera shuts itself on and off whenever it chooses, whenever it wants to, and so I'm going to talk to you, and while I'm introducing myself to you, I'll give you some idea of what the content of this channel is going to be for as many videos as I can get out on it, as I feel like doing. I live under a tremendous amount of stress. The pressure is all over me. I'm sure that I'll say parts of it, but my full name is George Wesley Thompson, and I was born in Crewe, Nottoway, Virginia, and I come from English on my father's side and Cherokee Indian on my mother's side. And the things that I know about 100 million Indians on this continent right here being murdered and raped and robbed and pillaged and massacred and made fun of and scalped and burned alive and tortured and fed to animals and pulled into pieces, staked out, skinned while still alive, scalped while still alive by mostly English and British. I'll try not to venture on that because that's a real touchy subject with me, because I'm both from the South and from the Cherokee Nation in my spirit, inside of my heart. And if I had a hero, it would be Geronimo. It would be Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves, or Robin Hood. Not gay for him or nothing, I just think that he's done some outstanding acting roles. Anyway, I've got 5 sisters, none which will have anything to do with me. One's a Christian that I'm sure of. Her name's Teresa. She lives in Baltimore, Maryland. A lot of trouble going on up there right now. I wish I had about 5 or 6 of those brothers up there who was willing to fight here with me. Somebody left a video on one of my other channels and said, "Hey man, how'd you like to have 3 or 4 or maybe 6 black guys?" I think is what they said. I can't remember for sure. And you know, they held that comment for me, and I found it like 4 months later. Found it 4 months later, buried. That's what YouTube, that's what Google Plus does. They got all my emails blocked, going and coming on my computer. My email address is trutherwes@gmail.com. trutherwes@gmail.com. All lowercase. trutherwes@gmail.com. And the only ones of you who'll get an email through to me is somebody who doesn't know anybody, who is completely, totally harmless to the New World Order. So that means they don't even know you exist except for whatever they can make off of you and scratch. And they don't care who you contact. And the others of you who will get through to me, you're working for the man. I have so many people on my different things, channels and stuff, that say we're your friends. And you know something? While I'm introducing myself, I want to tell y'all something. I cannot find a single honest person who will log onto my computer and get the bad guys off my computer and leave it clean. There is not one. Not one. Not one. Like Lot. He couldn't find 5. I haven't been able to find 5. That's a fact. I can't even find one who will fix my computer. They can log on. You know who logs on to my computer? People like those foreigners who work for Microsoft and IBM. They took 320 gigabytes off my computer one time. The Geek Squad got me for 1,871 videos. Another time. 10.5 months worth of documents, including writings and my stories and all kinds of stuff. They steal my comments off my computer right now. I just paid a Christian computer repairman $300 and some to put a new hard drive in my computer. And they're stealing my documents overnight. When my computer logs on and my desktop comes up, my desktop will sit there, and then you'll see the desktop go, everything on it will flicker, and then you'll hear a little tone on the computer go, and I know that's a duplicate console. I can't find it. I've got Clam Win, Kaspersky, antivirus programs, Spybot, malware, anti-malware. I can't find it. Won't nobody get it off. Everybody's afraid of the man. Anybody that can get it off, they're not honest. They're not a Christian. And that leads me to one point about what my videos are going to be about. They're going to be about you compromising wannabe Christians or so-called or self-labeled Christians who are going to die a terrible death. And then you're going to be tormented because you didn't do a damn thing to follow God's word or obey His word. That's because you had no fear. You got no fear of God doing anything to you. You got no fear of no hell. You got no fear of no torment. But yet, you put other gods in front of you. If they wear a uniform, they are your God. And there ain't an F-U-C-K-N-I-N-G one of you who's going to say that's a lie. If they wear a uniform, you fear them. They're your damn gods. And you do anything they say. You'll follow any command they give you, even if it's take your pants or panties off. You Christians have compromised your way, and you know daggone good and well God is not a God of compromise. They've edited so much out of the Bible. This Nabaru wormwood, Planet X, Nemesis, brown dwarf star solar system that's coming here that's going to blow the earth all to heck and heck. Let me tell you folks something. They got that buried so deep and covered up so deep in the scriptures that you wouldn't be able to decipher it unless you were like myself and a few other people, and you have devoted 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of your life to it. You know, when I first asked my first question about wormwood, was at a little church called Arbor Baptist Church. The pastor's name was Boyd. And I asked him, what is wormwood? Because he was preaching about a revelation, and he read something that John wrote, that Jesus said or something, about wormwood and the coming wormwood. And let me tell you folks something. That wormwood has happened on earth a bunch of times already before, and I think this could be the 7th time. They're distracting you and dazzling you with so much stuff in front of your head. They're building HARP machines that can blanket the entire northern hemisphere over the United States and project a holographic image. They have made a matrix underneath the heavens, between the heavens and the earth. And they can use that matrix for anything they want to, folks. They can project anything from it they want. They can even show you Jesus Christ returning in that matrix that they have created above your heads. Then they've used mind control to control your mind, that what you're seeing is real and you're going to believe it. Let me tell you what. If it ain't in the scriptures, no, let me rephrase that, because everything probably isn't in the scriptures, not as we read them today. You poor people who have been following the King James Version, those of you who have only studied from 1611 rendition and additions to the Hebrew text from 1611 to present date, I hate to tell y'all this. Y'all are still in kindergarten. You ain't made it even into grade school yet. Y'all need to get you a Coburn Bible. That'll give you a foothold on something. Then you need to check out about 40 or 50 other books that was omitted from the Hebrew text and scriptures. And a lot of them weren't Hebrew. The first Bible was 1450, done by a German atheist. Let me tell you something. Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mary, King Edward, King James, they're all of them. They have all edited. They've all been Jesuits. They have all edited the Word of God. They have taken things from that Word of God that y'all don't know about. Some of you now are just finding out something. Oh, wormwood. Oh, wormwood. Pow, what is that? That's what your pagan and your false prophet preachers and pastors have been keeping from you. That's what wormwood's all about. Wormwood, when you find out about it, folks, it's going to scare you so F-U-C and bad that those of you who are lucky enough to be riding the fence rail right now, it'll scare more than half of y'all to the believing side of God. And if you learn a little bit more about it, it'll show you that God can get real upset. We're looking at an extinction level event coming up here, folks. Now my videos are going to be, they're going to be a little different from what y'all are used to. The websites have got me locked and blocked. You're not going to be able to comment. I may just disable the comments for all of them. I live at 2488 West Jones Creek Road in Grants Pass, Oregon, 97526. They will crush your mail packages. They'll tear open and look into every single thing anybody might send me. So, know it ahead of time. I wouldn't even waste your money or your time. Don't send me anything. I'm doomed. There's nothing that anybody can do for me. The only thing anybody could do for me would say, man, we got a few hundred amigos over here held up, and we're not taking no shit off anybody. We could use somebody like you. If we come and get you, will you come join us? Well, I wouldn't broadcast that over no telephone, and I sure wouldn't type it over no text on anything. But that is a consideration. I got a lot of animal friends here where I live, and I know my days here are numbered and limited, and I plan on dying here, actually physically dying here. I'm being stalked night and day. There was a missing girl, Catherine O'Gara. She was missing from Missouri, and I think she got family in Illinois and stuff. She came here. She was being held a religious prisoner. I mean, in a manner of speaking, she was being held a religious prisoner. Her boyfriend and his family and his neighbors, she'd only been with him for 19 or 20 years, and she didn't even have a car in her name. Doesn't have a credit card. I don't even think, she doesn't even have a checking account. Anyway, she couldn't pray, she couldn't read the Bible, and when her man would go to work, he would take her phone and her computer with him. And she came here, she had to renew her driver's license, and that wasn't going to go good with him because she had already shown signs of sprouting wings, so he didn't want her to have no permit. She came here and they listed her as missing persons. They wanted to grab her. They've been threatening to throw her in an insane asylum because she believes in God. My videos are going to be different, folks. No one seems to care about sharing, even the ones that like my videos. Because I'm going to tell you something, folks. For those of you who actually would share another video, somebody else's video, that means that you would share it to all your friends on MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Who Struck John and Who Struck Murray and, Jim Bob J and, OK Sally. You would let everyone know, because some of those people might get a hell of a lot more out of my messages than you. And they might appreciate you letting them know that there's a pole shift coming that's going to just kill the shit out of everybody. And those of you who are real distant from God, you don't know about it. It ain't something that I'm going to say that God is doing. But there's a lot of other things that God has made that has messed with God's other makings. And the bright and morning star, the shining one, the one who defiled Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, the one who lost his legs and his arms and was put to be a serpent to crawl because it was an upright serpent on 2 legs with 2 arms. Y'all have a lot to learn. Those of you who have got that 1611 King James Version down so pat. Let me tell you something, folks. You ought to study how Hezekiah and the world backed up 10 degrees in a single day. You should research and find the Chinese writings about days that the day that the sun set twice in the same day. You should check out the Mayan calendars, what they say about the brown dwarf star coming out of the west, which, oops, it's coming right out of the west. They said that's not a good sign. And Mother Shipton prophecies, Nostradamus, and Edgar Casey, and a lot of other people. Jesus Christ, Mohammed, got a lot of respect for that man. Good Savior. All the Muslims ain't bad, folks. Only Obama's bunch, ISIS. Obama's an antichrist. Maybe, probably. He was born in Kenya, which is olden day Assyria, for you Bible scholars. You know something? You Bible scholars on the 1611 King James Jesuit version of the Hebrew Scriptures, y'all really do disgust me. You truly disgust me with thou art greater than thou in your hierarchies in your churches. The Lord God says all men are created equal. Now, until one does something to put himself under your feet, you shouldn't be walking on them. And that means none of this, oh no, we don't think the congregation needs to know about Wormwood or Nabaroo because they're still tithing. What are they going to do when they find out that we've been keeping secrets from them? What are they going to do when they find out that we're tied in with the government? Because as long as we don't preach or teach about the things that the government doesn't want the people to know about, then we're going to get us some slack cut here and some slack cut there. Folks, I'm not trying to... Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. Being disrespectful to you, folks. It's not because that's my nature. It's because the ones of you who stand idle and do nothing, who say nothing, who think of nothing, who help no one. Those of you who don't even care to know, or don't want to know, or you cover your eyes and your ears and your mouth. You disgust me. I loathe you. I'm supposed to pray for you. That'll heap coals up on your sinful heads because you ain't no damn Christians. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy today, Saturday. That's a Sabbath day. Man, he wanted to make Saturday a work day so he could increase his bank. God gave the Sabbath day to man to do whatever he wanted to do. Nothing if it pleases him. It's a day the Lord gave man so man gives it to the bank. My videos are going to be shocking. If you want to get a taste of them, I'm going to try to leave all the vulgar out, leave all my explosive temperament, my acting, because I can't act. I mean, I could go, oh, wow, shit. You know, I could do a bunch of screams and hollers and, you know, clapping hands or making sounds. If I'm going to make a sound, it's going to be a wolf sound, or it's going to be a monstrous sound, because I'm mad. I'm mad as any beast could possibly be. I mean mad, M-A-D-D, mad. I've seen so much in my life. I grew up on a little farm in Amelia County, Virginia. A lot of bad stuff going on up there right now. And those people don't know anything about the things I'm talking about. And do you know, my friendly government and all the law enforcement agencies, they won't even let me try to get the phone numbers and call anybody I went to school with when I was a kid. They've been stopping me from doing that for, well, they've definitely stopped me from calling anybody in Virginia since I left Virginia years ago. Isn't that some stuff? I've called businesses in Virginia. Businesses. Now, I can make a phone call through to businesses usually. It's just personal calls that they don't allow. So if someone has a business or you're calling from your work, you'll be able to get a call through to me probably. Got to use your head. But I've been actually talking to businesses, both local right here in Gloucester. There's an NSA front, an internet provider service called, I think the camera just clicked. There's a local Grants Pass, Oregon internet provider service called Outreach Internet. Well, Outreach is a NSA front to collect people up and their information like me. And they want to know, see folks, I'm going to tell you right now. I could tell y'all, this is still in my introductory stuff. This ain't getting into no message yet. When I get into a message, I get a little more serious. I could tell y'all that I have been abducted twice. I could tell y'all that because of my human unusualness or difference, I was fancied or was fascinated, and so I could tell you that they wanted to know more about how I think and what makes me act and think, because they know how you think. What makes me think the way I do. And so I could tell you that I described and explained God to them and told them that because that's something that I trusted in, had confidence in, believed in, I got things from that. And that's what motivates me to act and say and be the way that I am. And then I could say that they don't know this God, and that the only God that they know is the one who hurts and who is very violent and scary. And then maybe I could tell you that we conversed more. Maybe I could tell you anything. But I won't. But the government wants to know how I know the things that I know. Because they've got my computer so controlled, I don't research on it. I don't hardly research on the computer more. You know, I don't even go into my emails anymore and just scan through them and read the lines as the lines go across, because I'm good enough. I can't help it, I am. I've been in research since the mid-70s, and I've had to get people to do research for me. I've had to get people in the nursing field, doctor field. I've had to get people in the law field. If you don't think that I know lawyers on a personal basis, they're not the kind that I would call in the middle of the night to bond me out of jail, unless was. I was facing life and death charges, and they knew I was going to blow town. But, I mean, they Harley riders. I mean, you know, they go overseas to do, to defend somebody in other countries. And when you start telling these kinds of people things that they didn't know about, like wormwood, and what wormwood means, and the great destroyer, or the great destructor from the Old Testament, and what that means. When you start telling them things like that, and then you start telling them about the Star Wars defense system, and the heart machine, and the hologram program, and the lies, and the cover-ups of NASA, they become even more interested. And so the camera may have cut off again. So anyway, I'm still in the introductory stuff. You're just going to have to look at them all, because my camera cuts itself on and off. Everything that I have around here that it's hooked up electrical seems to have its own way. If you have a smart meter on your house, smart, S-M-A-R-T, meter, M-E-T-E-R. If you have a smart meter on the side of your house, it turns your house into an electrical matrix, multi-dimensional. They can tell what you're running, what appliance you're running, what chair you're sitting in, where you're standing, who's taking a bath, whether they're dressed or not, who's sleeping, whether they're sleeping or not. If you have a smart meter on your house, because General Electric Westinghouse is going to China, and they presently are and have been, they're making appliances that all are RFID chip equipped. And they're going to force you, read my lips, force you. They're going to force you to get rid of all your still good working stuff, appliances and everything, and buy something new. Or they're going to penalize you, even prosecute you. They're prosecuting people right now who are manufacturing their own electricity for their homes, out of the ground or out of compost. Things right from their own land. And if they can produce electricity, the government is penalizing them, prosecuting them for not purchasing from the electrical power companies and paying taxes and all this kind of stuff. And they're destroying their personal property, their inventions. They're passing laws that says you can no longer invent certain things. Folks, the Christians in America have allowed the evil to overcome the whole world. Yes, George Wesley Thompson says, George Wesley Thompson of Nottoway, Virginia, Crewe, Virginia, says that the Christians have allowed almost all the rest of the Christians in the world to be raped and robbed and pillaged and murdered, and these Christians have even contributed great numbers in wealth for financial support for these wars. Look at how many times you've sat in your churches and someone that says, "Oh, let's pray for our soldiers' safe return and that they kill everybody over there and get rid of the vermin in the world." And then they come home and they put police uniforms on, and then they start shooting your neighbor's dogs and raping your neighbor's boys and girls. Anybody wears a uniform is a friggin' pig. Anybody. Ain't none of you any good. You rape and you rob and you pillage and you murder all over earth. And then you want to boss and control and even tell other people how much electricity they can use, how long they can sit at their computer, how much hot water they can use. Or if they don't pay this fine or pay that fine, you're going to take their driver's license. You're going to cost them their job. You're going to cost them their families. You're going to cost them their homes. You know who does that? Only the ones in uniforms and the ones who work with them, and you're all fixing to board a hell-bound train. If you don't know anything about the Nibiru Planet X, Nemesis, brown dwarf star solar system that's in the middle of our solar system right now. I'd say y'all better add an extra scoop to your filter when you make your next pot of coffee. You ain't got enough caffeine in it to wake up yet. Everybody, y'all can say what you want, laugh what you want, but I urge you to go to your computers and check out the HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. It controls all the weather. It creates the hurricanes, the cyclones, the tornadoes. It did the earthquake in Tahiti. It did the tsunami in Japan, and subsequent earthquakes in Japan. And it also did the twin typhoons in the Philippines. And I had somebody that I was emailing in the Philippines, and I told them. And they went to Nextrad. Nextrad. You can go to Dutch Sense, which I don't trust, because a good man gives out a lot of information, but he wouldn't help me find out some information that I needed for some very personal one time about the Nextrad and the HAARP signatures and a great blizzard that took out 6,500 head of cattle owned by 3 different cattle ranchers who were holding off the government, the BLM people, off of them until they lost all their cattle. Then the insurance companies, IGA or whoever had them, they said, if you want to get paid, you got to go get all the cows' ears, cut all their ears off and bring us the ears. And we'll count the ears and pay you for every head. 6,500 head. I saw videos and pictures. Some of the cows were completely submerged in snow and their 4 hooves were sticking up out of the snow. I mean, they were like in the ground and their legs were like stiff, straight up in the air. It's like they were play cows and you turned them upside down and filled a place with talcum powder or something. The snow, but weird. And the weather had been great. Everything's blooming and blossoming for about 3 weeks or so, and then these cattle ranchers moved all their herds up to the higher grazing country that was starting to turn green. Then a blizzard came through and killed them all because the government couldn't control them. And what the government can't control, it puts out of business or it kills. And all these ministries that's on television that's making it, these profitable things that are selling and doing this, let me tell you something, folks. A real ministry of God gives things away. I don't have anything to give away except the truth and my knowledge and the facts, the things that come to me. I'm not saying how they come to me. I'm just saying the things that come to me. And I'm passing them on to y'all. Now, the name of this channel is going to be The Unedited Prophet. Prophet is a real big word. And I wouldn't make a pimple on a prophet's ass. But I do prophesy. And if you prophesy, and anything that you prophesy, anything comes around, then folks, you might not be batting 1,000, but you're still a friggin' prophet. Now I'm telling you something. The law is going to be, and the UN military is going to be ransacking your homes. They're going to be killing your pets. They're going to be taking every weapon you got. And in some countries right now, I think it's going on in Australia right now too, they're even taking knives and swords away from everybody. Do you know why that is? They want to make sure that the mortal combat will be against the citizen, the unarmed citizen, not against the enforcers. If they've got body armor and they've got weapons and you have nothing, how do you think that's going to turn out, folks? You let them take everything? The Christians outnumbered and had the jobs, had the money, but they didn't have leadership. And they let this country be taken over. And the Christian leaders sold this country out. They sold it out to Satan's lot. The Catholic Church has ties with the reptilians whose main nest is below the surface of the earth. A lot of them live above the surface of the earth, but still in a nest-like dwelling. They shape-shift, some of them. There's different kinds. I would urge you to go to your computers and look up reptilians. Learn something about them. Some of you, you're going to have mortal combat with them. Some of you with the UN forces. some of you with local police, who's going to say, "Oh, sorry, Mildred, I'm just doing my job." They know what the job is, and they've known it all along. These people that stalk me, they fight dogs to the death over here and shoot the ones that lose. I hear it. I hear it going on. There's nobody that you can say anything to, and I'm by myself. I'd like to have a couple of good old boys, or a couple, good old people, a couple that come in here and said, "We happen to see your video, and we understand that there's some dog fighting going on in this valley right here, and you need some help to put a stop to that shit." Then I would say, yeah, I do. If I had a little help, I would put a stop to it myself. But I'm only one person. I'm dealing with 5 or maybe 6 different dwellings of people that are associated and affiliated with what's going on. Not to mention some very nice vehicles that are coming in here on fight nights. And sometimes fight nights are 2 nights in a row. There ain't anything I can do about it by myself. But if I had somebody to watch my 6, I'd get in a little closer and see if I could think of something. Now I'm going to tell you something. I had a state policewoman right here, Grants Pass, named Deanna Harris. She told me not to go on anybody else's property. That's because Deanna Harris at the state police. She took a report of me at these sons of guns killing and murdering women and children, women and teenage boys over here, and then killed some more people down here too, 2 mornings later, because they were witnesses. They saw them getting rid of their stuff and asked some questions. So I went in, busted in their house one morning about 7:15. He killed their asses too. There's 2 people in that house and killed another dog there. SWAT team, or I reckon a SWAT team, took one of my neighbors out down here that knows about Nibiru and Wormwood and what's going on in the churches and all the deception and the lies and the government cover-ups and everything. They put sharpshooters on him and pitch pebbles against his window like they do on my house here. They pitch pebbles up on my porch, pitch little grits against my window pane to get me to come outside so they can shoot me, folks. I told y'all I had a little pressure going on. I'm still trying to put the truth out to y'all. These videos are